So my name is Michael Jackson. I am a transportation planner and the bicycle and pedestrian coordinator with the Prince George's County Planning Department. We're part of the Maryland, I'm sorry, part of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. And the Active Transportation Advisory Group, we've been around for a couple of years now, for late 2000. And the predecessor group was the Bicycle Transportation Advisory Group, which was in existence from 1998 until 2019, where my predecessor staffed that meeting, and it kind of went by the wayside when he retired. So one of the things I was tasked to do when hired was to reactivate the group, and we call ourselves Active Transportation because we wanted to focus more on the people rather than the facilities themselves. So with that, why don't we go with a round of introductions and um, Steve, do you want to start off by introducing yourself one more time, and then
Well,
people can just pick up.
I'm honored to go first. Thank you very much. My name is Steve Skolnick. I'm a longtime resident of Greenbelt, Maryland, and Prince George's County. I served for many years as president of the board of directors for Greenbelt Homes Incorporated, our large historic housing cooperative here in Greenbelt. I currently serve on the city of Greenbelt's Green Team, because Greenbelt is an incorporated city, and the Green Team works on environmental sustainability, all things sustainable. And my particular expertise, since I am a retired electrician, master electrician, has to do with solar energy and electric vehicles. And so I spend a good portion of my time doing that. I built my own electric bike, and I'm very happy to be here with you this evening.
Thank you. Uh, I see Megan Hart is here. Megan, would you care to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. My name is Megan Hart. I'm a graduate student at the University of Maryland, and so I'm here representing the Terps for Bike Lanes Bicycle Advocacy Group on campus. We're hoping to push the university to truly consider bike lanes and other bike infrastructure as they're developing kind of their master plans. So we work with Bike UMD and also facilities in the Department of Transportation to facilitate both university bike lanes and hopefully cooperate with the surrounding communities to also get bicycle networks to enable commuters from the broader area to get to campus on bicycles and other micro transportation.
Megan, that's a very admirable group, and so welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Um, David, would you care to take your turn?
Yeah, Mike, appreciate it. Honored to be here. Dave Owens. I'm the president of Fort Washington Forward. As I was speaking earlier, we're a nonprofit that's been in operation for almost a year now. I guess we're getting up on the 7 or 8 month mark. And we do a lot of placemaking projects in Fort Washington, resident driven. You know, our board sort of rallies the community to do that because since we're an unincorporated community. So, and we do those things in hopes of leveraging those things to get future investment. So we've got a farmers market concept. What caught my attention here is we also do a lot of green team environmental stuff. And as part of that, believe it or not, we also think a lot about bike lane connectivity. Right now in Fort Washington, if you're in a certain area, you are locked away from Henson Creek Trail, and so the Oxon Hill Road area that's in a soon to be major commercial corridor, you can't really get to Henson Creek Trail safely. We're trying to change that now. Not going to be easy, but that's certainly what perked my ears up to be here tonight and to start those conversations. So really just happy to be here and looking to participate in any which way that I can.
Oh, thanks so much. Callie Crumpos, got, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, you got in at the last moment. Welcome.
Hello, I appreciate the late send on the meeting link. Glad to be here. Like you said, my name is Callie Crumpos. I am here on behalf of the Washington Area Bicyclist Association. So we're thinking about how do we support and promote a low stress infrastructure on our streets, but also on trails. I work really closely with the Capital Trails Coalition. So how do we also support that off-road trail network all the way across Maryland, DC, and Virginia? Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Callie. By the way, how long have you been with WABA?
Just a couple months. I started earlier this summer.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Um, let's see, we have Akin M. Would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, good evening. My name is Ken McCoy. I'm in Bowie. I'm a member of the Green Team subcommittee called MAPS, Multimodal Access and Public Spaces. Same group that John Teasdale mentioned a little bit earlier. So we work to advise the city of Bowie on matters of biking and walking within the city and try to improve connectivity along those lines. So I've been to a couple of these meetings before. I forget where I first got wind of the meetings. There's a couple of them I haven't made in the past, but I'm trying to pay closer attention, and I'm back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's see, Stacy, have you introduced yourself officially?
I don't think so. And I just got the poor network quality thing on my camera on my computer. So if I freeze or anything, someone let me know. But I'm Stacy King. I manage the Ride Smart Commuter Solutions Program, which is a free service offered through the County Department of Public Works and Transportation. So my role is to promote a lot of the existing free programs that help bring commuters more options, and to try and build new ones, and help kind of connect the infrastructure with how we use it and get people. The goal is to reduce single car occupancy driving throughout the county for mainly for commuting, but I'm a little bit of an all transportation reasons person. So
Wonderful. And we'll be hearing from you in just a few moments. Tiffany, last but certainly not least, could you give your official introduction?
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, everyone. I am Tiffany Jennings. I am also with the Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation. Work closely with Stacy King and a number of colleagues that you all have probably met before, Andrea Lasker, our Vision Zero coordinator. But I am the program manager for our Capital Bike Share program that, as many of you all probably are very familiar with, Capital Bike Share. It is a bike share system that runs throughout the region. We have 27 stations in Prince George's County, but you'll learn more about that. In addition to managing our Capital Bike Share system, I also am the program manager for our bike and pedestrian program. So work alongside our MDOT representatives, Park and Planning. We will work closely with Park and Planning to implement a number of the recommendations that are in the various master plan and sector plans. And so I'm happy to be here today to hear some of your concerns and your suggestions, and to, of course, provide you with information and updates that we have. Thank you for having me.
Tiffany, thank you so much. So in our format, we typically have presenters, and then we try to find some time for other business. That's kind of like a potpourri of items that people may have. ATAG does serve not only for the presentations, but hopefully for some cross-fertilization, where we have like-minded folks from the East County, from Bowie, and South County and Fort Washington, and as well as Greenbelt. So hopefully, and University of Maryland. So hopefully there's some cross-fertilization of thoughts and ideas and introductions. Are there any questions at this point? Without that, Stacy, you're on, and let me let's see. Do I have to give up? I'll stop sharing and open it up for your presentation.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's see here. Okay. To the top. All right. So, yes, hello again, everyone. Thank you, Michael, for some time on the agenda. I wanted to give a few updates that do have some really great crossover with active transportation, and some of it might be new information, some of it you may know about, but just giving a few current things. So I want to start off with Car Free Day. This is an international day that is celebrated on September 22nd every year. And it's a day where everyone is encouraged to find other modes of transportation that don't involve driving alone for their trips. So, and that can be a trip for any purpose. And if you do have to use a car, then maybe you can go car light and combine that trip with other people. So regionally, we celebrate Car Free Day through the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments Commuter Connections group. They are sort of the host for the major event, and there's the website that you can go to. It's carfreemetrodc.org. You can take a free pledge to, you're pledging to go car free on September 22nd or car light. And if you take this free pledge, it's about a 2-minute kind of survey where you sort of just give some information about how you plan to move around on that day. And for doing that, aside from the benefits of going car free, you will get an email that will contain a $30 NIFT promotional code, a 24-hour Capital Bike Share Pass, and you get put into some bigger prize drawings for some more exciting prizes. You don't get put on a mailing list, so you should not expect spamming as a result of doing this sort of thing. But this is just a great way. There's some really good resources on the Car Free Day website as well. So just encourage everybody to go to carfreemetrodc.org, check it out, take the pledge, and you can follow along on social media as well. So as part of what we're doing in the county for Car Free Day to kind of promote it, we've lined up a whole host of events out in the community. I've been to a couple already, but this week and next week we'll be doing quite a lot at some of the park and ride lots and the metro stations. And on this coming Friday, we'll be in the city of Hydesville for their big parking day celebration. We'll be there for most of the day. And then on Car Free Day on the 22nd, we'll be at the Riverdale Park Farmers Market. So there's still a little bit of time in September. If any of you are having a community event or a workplace event, or you're not having one, but you would like to have one, you feel free to reach out. I'll put my information in the chat. It's there on the screen too, but we can get a few things going. Been doing a lot more farmers markets this year, which has been a lot of fun because that's my personal happy place. And we went to the Upper Marlboro Outdoor Movie Night. So there's pretty much nothing I'm not up for going to. And then in addition to the events and the Car Free Day website, we're actually layering an additional incentive on top of all this other good stuff. So through the RideSmart program and in partnership with the Commuter Connections program, we promote a number of free commuter services that exist. So the three that are on the screen are Commuter Connections. This is a website that you can go to for free ride matching. A free service called Guaranteed Ride Home that will get you home in the event of an emergency up to 6 times per year for free. There's this fun app called Incentrip that you can download and log your commutes, and no matter how you're commuting to work, you get points. Driving alone might give you some points, but taking the bus or riding your bike will give you more. And over time, those points accrue, and then you can redeem them for cash or other rewards. And then the one on the bottom is Carpool Now, which offers a little bit more real-time ride matching. And so if you need a ride on a particular day, you can try to find one through the app. And if you are driving and you match with someone through the app and you pick them up and co-commute, you get $10 per trip for doing that. So to kind of elevate these three different options, we're running a little bit of an online contest, and anyone that with a commute that starts in Prince George's County between September 6th and September 23rd, new accounts created across any of these platforms go into the running. We're going to do a bigger prize drawing ourselves for either a Capital Bike Share membership and prize pack, or some of my very best Ride Smart swag. So just some things there, some good things to check out. You know, we're really always interested in hearing people's experiences with these tools and sites, and hope that you'll give them a try. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is just something very related to commuting, but you know, part of my role with the county is I kind of have two main audiences. I work with individuals as commuters and residents to help, you know, bring you information about transportation programs, help you find transportation and commuting solutions. But we also work with employers. So we provide free support to employers in the county to help them establish commuter benefits programs. And this can be a really important way for, you know, to, again, help individuals kind of get to work in a more cost-effective and time efficient way. So from the employer side of what we do, I also just wanted to throw this out there that there's this really great program called the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit. And oops, I think I'm going to turn my camera off because my because I froze up a little bit. So traditionally, what this program does is it lets businesses, including 501c3 and 501c4 organizations, claim back 50% of the cost of a subsidy that they're providing for their employees to commute. And traditionally, that has included these programs here on the left. So transit, carpooling, or transit, van pooling, an employer-provided guaranteed ride home program, and a parking catch-out program, which is basically giving money in the amount that you would have subsidized a parking space. So on July 1st of this year, the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit expanded, and it basically covers every mode of transportation now, including the active modes of transportation. So it now covers carpooling expenses, teleworking, it covers bicycling, bike share, and scooter share. It covers walking, so if there are any walking commuters or running commuters. And then this thing that they branded as a multimodal last mile connection. So this is for anyone that might need to use a ride hailing service to make that last mile connection, either between a mode of transportation and their work or home, or to connect them between two modes of transportation. So there's, you know, some limitations within that in terms of mileage and radius and whatnot, but that does count too, because it may factor into people's commutes. So we're really excited that this commuter tax credit expanded, because from an equity standpoint, it really opens up a lot of options for employers, and gives people who are commuting in these particular ways. It sort of raises that exposure, and that yes. So this is also, I just want to also say that the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit is in addition to the federal commuter benefits that are already available. So employers can already allow a pre-tax or a subsidy or a combination for transit, van pool, and commuter-related parking under the IRS benefits. That's up to $280 per month. So, but that is separate. That is separate and in addition to the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit. So again, the way that through our Ride Smart program, through what my work is for the county, our role in this is really to kind of, promote this new tax credit, this expanded tax credit, but also to provide that, provide the help to employers to get them to establish or expand a commuter benefits program that may help them qualify for this kind of a reward. So, we have lots and lots of different ways that we support employers, and that's a totally whole other topic for maybe some other time. But I would say if any of you work in Prince George's County, or you know people who are operating businesses in Prince George's County, please feel free to reach out to us, and we can talk. Everything that we do is very customizable, and it's every business has a different need. So that's what we're here to help do. So that's actually it for me. That's my last slide. But I don't know how you want to do questions, Michael, if there are any.
Sure. Thank you so much, Stacy, for that information of ways that employers and others in the area are encouraging and supporting bicycle transportation. I do have one question, and that question is, do you know of any companies as of yet that have taken advantage of the subsidy to add commuter benefits for employees who bike?
That's a great question. I do not know offhand of any employers in Prince George's County that are offering this. What I can add is that this commuter tax credit has kind of also filled a gap, because at the federal level there had been a bicycle commuter benefit, and that gave a tax-free benefit, allowed employers to give a tax-free benefit of up to $240 to their employees each year if they were bike commuters, and that has been put on hold until 2026. That was one of the things that got scrapped as part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act with the previous administration. So, so in terms of, if employers are doing it, if they have been doing it in between, it would have been as a post-tax benefit. But now, now with the Maryland Commuter Tax Credit, it would still be a post-tax benefit, but the employers themselves can get a little bit of money back for it. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
I'm not sure if it does. Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Yes, Stacey, this is Dave Owens from Fort Washington Forward. Is there a way that you can put the website, your website in the chat there? Because there's a lot of information that you talked about that I want to go back and sort of get it in my mind. And I'm wondering if you could put that there, that way I can kind of go back and process it a little easier. But that was
Absolutely. Yes, I fully recognize it was like a ton of stuff to throw at everybody. So yeah, I will I'll drop my email in the chat and a couple of links to my website, to the Car Free Day website, and then have my email. Please reach out, and we can even schedule time to talk a little bit more, because I have even more slide decks. So
Thanks.
If there are no other questions or comments about the Maryland's commuter subsidy program or Car Free, Car Light Day, I want to thank Stacy for presenting and enlightening us. And our next presenter is Tiffany Jennings from DPW&T, the other half of the dynamic duo from DPW&T, and she has updates from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Program. Tiffany, you'd like to take it away?
Thanks, Michael. Yes, I will. And so hello again, everyone. I think the last time that I was here, I talked about our Capital Bike Share program. So I'm going to give pretty much 3 quick updates. One about the Capital Bike Share program, one about an upcoming bike ride that many of you all may already know about. And then also I'm going to talk about Walktober. So I'll talk a little bit about biking, and then a little bit about our pedestrian safety and pedestrian program efforts. And so, as mentioned earlier, when I introduced myself, we, Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation, we operate Capital Bike Share. And for those that came late, I am Tiffany Jennings, the Bike and Pedestrian Program Manager, also manage our Capital Bike Share program. But in Prince George's County, as mentioned, we operate 27 of the over 600 Capital Bike Share stations throughout the county. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to actually show you our new Capital Bike Share story map. And so actually I cheated here. Of course, all you would do is to click on this link, and I will click on, I will provide that link in the chat, but I actually have it up here. And so I am going to actually click on, it's actually under my, what I'm going to do is stop presenting, and then I'm going to click on it. Okay, because I have a couple of things that are up. So let me bring this screen up for you guys. And let me go back to sharing my screen. There are a couple of things that I wanted to show you, so I clicked on them all in advance. So let me share my screen again so that you can see the Capital Bike Share story map. Okay, can everybody see the Capital Bike Share story map?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So what this is pretty much is this actually is on our Transportation Hub site, Prince George's County Transportation Hub site. And what it does is it pretty much talks about Capital Bike Share in Prince George's County. It shows for you our Capital Bike Share systems map, as well as our Capital Bike Share resources here. And so, as many of you all are aware, you go to capitalbikeshare.com to purchase your Capital Bike Share membership, also to get general information on Capital Bike Share. But what we did was we wanted to actually show you what some of the stations look like. We had heard from a couple of residents that they didn't know that we had 27 stations in the county. And so we thought that this was helpful to be able to show individuals. We had photos taken of the stations, individual stations, and also in there, okay, I'm gonna pull up the one in Greenbelt, photos of the individual stations. And then also you're able to look at how many bikes are actually at each station. This is live information here. So this, for instance, is the Greenbelt Station, Parkway, and North Center Drive. And so there are currently, there are 11 docks. This is our smallest station with 11 docks, but it shows that there are 4 bikes available. And you can actually click on here and see what the station looks like. So we actually went out in the field and had photos taken of each of the stations, just so that you would have an idea of what that particular site looked like, because you don't get that information on the Capital Bike Share website. And so we thought that was helpful. I pulled up Greenbelt because I know one of the individuals today, one of the attendees is from Greenbelt. And so I thought that that would be good information to have. But like for this one as well, let's see here. I'm gonna pull up this one here, Crescent one. Okay, here, same type of thing. You pull up, this is our Crescent Road and Ridge Road station, which is by our the Greenbelt Police Station. And it shows that there are 2 bikes that are available, 15 docks. And you can look at this information, all of this view, all of the street Google view. So this we know is the police district station here. And then also you can actually zoom in. Of course, you may not want to zoom in that much, but you can see the surroundings, so you can see the infrastructure that is in the vicinity as well. And so we found this to be helpful, and this is our bike share station here. This again is pretty much hot off the press. We've released this story map in early spring, and so we thought that this would be beneficial for individuals to just get a closer look at our 27 stations. And so not only are you able to look at our individual stations that we have in Prince George's County, the great thing with this story map is it gives you basic information about Capital Bike Share. It talks about the types of bikes that we have, both classic and pedal assist bikes, what you can basically use them for, as many of you all know, not just for errands or recreation, for the first mile, last mile, for the full trip. Another great thing with this is that it also has in the layers here, you can actually utilize this to look at state parks that are nearby, MNC PPC parks, and then the Maryland bicycle level of traffic stress data that we received from MDOT. And so this will allow you to see, there we go. It will allow you to see, based on the data provided from MDOT, the level of stress of that street that is in the vicinity of, say, I'll pull out our Capital Bike Share station. So we'll zoom in to, we'll zoom in. And this, of course, is the entire, this area, of course, is Google. So you'll get everything, but our focus is Prince George's County because that's where the data is that we have included. So you can, but of course the state's data is for the entire state. So if you were looking at the Capital Bike Share area around this Capital Bike Share station, and you wanted to look at the level of stress of that roadway, and this is Harry Truman here. So you can see here, you can click on here and look at the level of stress for this particular area. Are you all able to see? Am I zooming in too much?
We can see part of the map. It's like a window box view right now.
Okay.
A letterbox, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Let me try to zoom out some. You all's eyes are probably better than mine, so I always have to zoom in really close. But zoom out some. Okay. All right. That's a little bit better here.
Yeah.
But you can click on the streets to see the level of stress here that has been identified through the data, the level of stress score here. And this here is considered a 4 here. And so, yes. Same here. The score of 4, score of 3. And so we found this helpful. This, of course, is strictly for planning purposes. When you're planning your route, you can utilize this data just, again, for information purposes only. But we found that it was helpful for us when we're planning, and we thought it would be beneficial for individuals that are planning their route so that they can see which may be the less stress route when planning their bike ride. And so I'm going to put in the chat the link to this particular, to this site, the story map, and also to our transportation hub. And so let me know if you have any questions with the story map. There are a number of features. Of course, the number one goal was really to help you identify where our locations were and to show you a live map of the number of bikes at each particular station and how many bikes were at that station. Okay. All right, so I am going to go from, any questions with regards to the story map?
I had a quick question. Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Okay. How high do the stress scores go? So you mentioned a score of 4. Is that particularly high, low, middle?
Yes, let me look and see if, let me pull out the 4 is, let me pull out the legend. Let's see if we have that in here.
Isn't 5 the highest you can
The
go?
5 is the highest, the worst, right?
And that's on streets that's on roadways where bicyclists are not allowed to ride, such as the Capitol Beltway.
Exactly, where they're prohibited. And so 4 is not necessarily recommended. 5 would be prohibited. And let me see if I have the legend. If they, let me see if the legend is provided here. But Michael actually was involved in looking at the data and the work that the students at University of Maryland did. We actually participated in a couple of the sessions with them, but the data that they used to do their app came straight from MDOT. And so this data that we have put into this Capital Bike Share story map is data that we received from MDOT.
One thing I was going to add, I'm not exactly sure on this, but I think I'm right that looking at the example that you just showed in Largo, and I was looking at Arena Drive, which was listed as a 4, and that's an important link and probably maybe the least stressful in that area to cross the Beltway that bridges the Beltway. And so I'm thinking that the rankings, I'm assuming, were probably based upon maybe the worst conditions, say rush hour, and that there may be times of the day, such as Sunday afternoons when the Washington Commanders aren't in town, that maybe Arena Drive might, the stress level might be less than a 4.
Exactly.
Any thoughts on that? Does that seem reasonable?
Yes, I definitely think so. I thought that the legend was here. I'll definitely put the legend in the chat after before we end this call, definitely. But yes, 5 would be the area that's prohibited, and then of course the lower score would be your routes that are more friendly. So your routes pretty much for persons of various ages and abilities.
And I'll just add that hopefully through rider experience, bicycle education and so forth, that we can eventually increase, as we're working to improve our network and look at engineering changes. Hopefully between that and people getting more experience on bicycles and becoming more comfortable, their level of stress tolerance may actually improve, so that you're not perhaps always stuck at, gee, if it's a 2 or if it's a 3, then I'm not going to make the trip.
Okay, this is the story map here. Link. Story map here. Okay, perfect. All righty. Was there another question? I have 2 additional.
Question, Tiffany, or Ms. Jennings, I'm sorry. And you may have said this, I was writing some notes down, so if I missed it, I apologize. What goes into, when you say level of stress, I mean, there's different factors, obviously, that go into popping out a number, right? I mean, was there accidents? Is it, what what are some of the different factors that go into that level of stress number?
The speed, I know the speed of a roadway is one of the things that goes into that. For instance, if it's a roadway that's 55 miles per hour versus a roadway that is 35 miles per hour, that's one of the factors that is mentioned. I want to pull up and again, I personally did not do the analysis. We only used the data, but I do know that the speed of the roadway is one of the major factors. Michael, did you want to mention some of the other factors?
Sure. By the way, just for information, I used to be with MDOT for 14 years as their director of bicycle and pedestrian access. And one of the projects that we first did was the state's first 20-year bicycle and pedestrian access master plan. And with that, we did something called bicycle level of comfort, which has now moved on to be called level of traffic stress. And items that we used in calculating the bicycle level of comfort would be volume of traffic, speed of traffic, um, the type of land use, um, whether there was a presence of large trucks or buses, larger vehicles, um, room, whether there was a shoulder or bike lane along there where bicyclists had a separate place to ride, although not physically protected. So, say for example, a 2-lane roadway um, with no shoulders but low volume and maybe relatively low speeds might be similar to perhaps a higher volume or roadway um, that has bike lanes where people would feel a little bit more comfortable. So, in short, just a mix of variables would go into determining how the average and they felt the average psych person would feel on a bike and how uncomfortable they might be along there. I hope that helps to answer that question.
No, it does. It makes sense. I kind of assumed um, that was part of the factors. I guess the second question I had for Ms. Jennings was just when the county sees these higher stress areas, is there from a resident standpoint, how do I guess areas go about addressing those to get them to go from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 or whatever? Is there a process or a plan that Department of Public Works goes through to sort of mitigate some of those things if certain areas or is there a plan or how does that even happen?
Now, I got disconnected. I just rejoined. My call was dropped. So could you repeat that question? Or was that a Michael question or was that I couldn't hear the question. My apologies.
Forward. I'll be quick with it. I was just wondering when you have all this data, this is high stress, medium stress, and low stress or whatever. Is there a countywide, I guess, plan that addresses those that helps communities address those high stress areas to make them not so high stress? And if so, what are those platforms that residents can sort of connect to when we see those areas in our own communities that are high stress to make them go from maybe 5 to 4 to 3 or whatever, something like that? Or is there such a thing? I don't know.
That is actually a really good question. I think the work that uh, the planning department is doing and what DPW&T is doing through our Vision Zero Prince George's initiative. We are, and then also through ATAG as well as the Prince George's County Bike and Pedestrian Community Advisory Group, we are looking at infrastructure improvements. We are looking at low-hanging fruit. We have done a lot of work, and there's still much, much more to do. I mean, Prince George's County DPW&T maintains 2,000 miles of roadway, and that's just county roadways. So you still have state maintained roadways, and so there's still much, much more to do. But we're listening to our cycling community. We're listening to the pedestrians that have voiced concerns. And through, I think, the collaboration and coordination, we're able to understand some of the needs and concerns that have been voiced through the various work groups. Also, the planning department, I mean, through our sector plans and master plan of transportation, we have identified roadways that are planned for improvements, and monies are in the CIP to make those improvements. But it's a process. It is a process. But I think we have made a lot of improvements, and we still have much work to do.
Hi, Tiffany, let me add to that as well.
Mhm.
So Tiffany has referred to the Department of Public Works and Transportation, but we have a number of different operating agencies that have control over roadways. Tiffany mentioned State Highway Administration, which are those numbered roadways
Mhm.
in the state, and then where we have municipalities. Also, and she alluded to the planning department's role, which is where I work. So one of the things that I do um, is to review development applications that come in for developers, and we have requirements called adequacy of public facilities, which includes bikeways and sidewalks. And so, depending upon where the project is located and the size of the project, we're able to review an application and make recommendations to say, well, we recommend to the planning board that this project be approved under these conditions, and it could be um, well, just say, David, in your area, the Henson Creek and vicinity um, area master plan, along with the 2009 countywide master plan of transportation. We could say, well, our policy says there should be sidewalks on both sides on all new streets. Um, for this particular road, say Oxon Hill Road, at this section, we should have bike lanes along here. So the developers, we are able to require when sites are being developed, and there's a lot of interesting rules. The size of the project. If it's under 5,000 square feet, then they're exempt. What the area master plan says, what the community master plan says. So anyway, we do that as well. State Highway Administration, one of the things that they're working on in your community is creating a bikeway that's parallel to Indian Head Highway between Oxon Hill Road and I think it's the second. What is that road? Getting toward Piscataway, Fort Foot Road. Aren't there two locations where where Fort Foot Road crosses? Um, Maryland 210?
Not to my knowledge. I'm not sure. No, Fort Foot Road does not cross 210. Oxon Hill Road.
Let's see, I'll take a look at a map. We just gave comments to SHA on their plan. Let's see, I believe I think it went all the way down to Old Fort Road. And I think there might have been 2 intersections of that. Well, it looks like it was about maybe a 3 or 4 mile segment along Indian Head Highway where they're planning on, in some sections, building new sections of bike path, and some sections using service roadways, and knitting together a series of roadways. And I think there's a new crossing of 210 where there would be bike lanes. But anyway, they're working out a routing system there to get bicyclists a lower stress route than riding on the shoulders of 210. So anyway, that's kind of like, if I hope that that was a long-winded way of perhaps maybe expanding the greater picture. And then I would imagine that jurisdictions such as the city of Bowie and the town of Greenbelt may also have plans for the streets that they control.
And I did, thank you, Michael. That was very good to know. And you all, we did put in the chat the actual key. And so, as we mentioned, the highest number, as you can see, is 5, where those roadways would be prohibited to cyclists, such as what Michael mentioned, the Beltway, 50 are high speed roadways, and 0 would be the areas that are pretty much for various ages and abilities. And so those are safer roadways that are recommended for cyclists. And so really, I just wanted to kind of give you a little taste of the bike share story map, let you see the different features of the bike share story map, and the different things that it can, the different data that is included in the story map. And in addition to that, so that is in the transportation hub. I did provide that link on the in the chat for you. And also what I wanted to do, in addition to that, I wanted to talk just really briefly, because I am well over time. I had not planned to go into that much detail about the story map, but I also wanted to share with you about the Walktober. And so with that, I'm going to share my screen again real quick and just show you the Walktober slide that we have.
Tiffany, you're doing well on time.
Okay, thank you, Michael. For some reason, let's see here. I do not see you all. So you all, my little box is no longer here. Yeah, for some reason I am not seeing you all. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through Walktober. No. Walktober is October's Pedestrian Safety Month. And for Walktober, what MDOT, Maryland Department of Transportation, has done is they have made the entire month of October Walktober. And so that month is dedicated toward pedestrian safety and walking. Walk Maryland Day is one of the events in Walktober. And so for Walktober, there's an event every single week. There's Walk-a-Nars. The first Walk-a-Nar is October 6th. And that Walk-a-Nar will be focused on national perspectives on walking and pedestrian safety. And Walk-a-Nars are pretty much webinars. The second Walk-a-Nar is equity and walkability. The third Walk-a-Nar is walking in public health, research insights into the value of active living. And the fourth Walk-a-Nar is expanding access to pedestrian infrastructure and improving public safety tools and case studies. And so all of these Walk-a-Nars are open to the public and they are free. And so also in addition to that, in October, the first Wednesday in October is Walk Maryland Day, October 5th. And so there will be walking events all over the states to promote walking. And so we are encouraging everyone to participate, whether you're participating as a walker or if you're doing an organized walk. DPW&T will be participating in a walk. We're actually going to be co-hosting a walk at Historic Ridgely Rosenwald School in Capitol Heights, promoting walking around Historic Ridgely School in the parking lot, and then also parking planning and Ride Smart, as well as Vision Zero in our Bike and Ped program. We are encouraging people to also walk at Watkins Regional Park with our senior walking club, Club 360. And so you'll get information about that by going to the website. I'll put the link in the chat for Walktober. And the last event that I wanted to mention is the Ride for Natasha. And I am trying to figure out why I cannot see. I wanted to pull up this slide, but for some reason I am not able to see. Let's see, Michael. What I want to do is I am not able to see this. What I need to do is, I think, probably log out and log back in.
That might be worth a shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Ride for Natasha, I'll log out and then log back in because I really wanted to show you this last slide. For some reason, there we go. I can see you all. My apologies, you all. For some reason, I could not see you all, but let me pull this last slide up. And this is the Ride for Natasha slide. And so this slide here is Ride for Natasha slide. And are you able to see the slide?
Not yet. But Tiffany, we have seen that you've come in from the street into
I know,
residence.
As you can see, I am having complications. We'll blame it on the storm because it is storming here. So we'll just say it was the storm. And so yeah. Okay, let me try this one last time to share my screen. It's not sharing, you guys. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just describe it. When you have complications, you just keep moving, right? Okay, so the save the date for the Ride for Natasha. Ride for Natasha is this coming Saturday, This is an annual ride to bring greater awareness to the importance of bicycle safety. It's a remembrance ride that the mother of Natasha Pettigrew was a cyclist who was killed on Maryland 202 11 years ago, about actually 12 years ago. And so her mother does this memorial ride, and it leaves out of the Jericho City of Praise parking lot in Landover. And cyclists ride from Landover to Annapolis. And so the information is in Meetup. The cyclists are doing this ride. They're leaving out this coming Saturday. Meetup is at 7 o'clock. And they pull out. And so I will drop that meetup in the chat. And for those persons that are interested, over 200 cyclists do the ride every year. And it is a 40-mile ride. You can do the shorter version, but that's something also that we support to bring greater awareness to bicycle safety. And thank you all for your time. My apologies for the technological issues today. We'll blame it on the storm.
Tiffany, thank you so much. David, I see you have your hand up, but before I call on you, I just wanted to ask Tiffany, is it true that walking is Maryland's official state exercise?
It is. It is. Walking is Maryland's official state exercise. Governor Hogan actually was the one that that announced walking as our official exercise. And so every year, Walk Maryland Day, the goal is to get everybody out walking to celebrate our official exercise.
Thank you so much. David, did you have a question or comment?
No, you know what? I pushed the button by mistake. I apologize. I didn't have any questions. Sorry about that.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Tiffany? Tiffany, thank you so much. Well, I guess I'm up now. Mine will be pretty brief. Famous last words. So I'm project manager of two projects. One is called the Pedestrian Bicyclist Behavioral Study. And that study is intended to examine how does infrastructure, the roadway and the transportation environment affect behavior? How does perceived safety affect behavior of pedestrians and bicyclists? And are people's actions any different if they're in areas that we call equity emphasis areas? And those are typically locations inside the Beltway in Prince George's County, as designated by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, that either have a higher than average population of minority groups or low income groups, and they have a formula for that. So the study will be looking at, we'll be doing a crash analysis, attempting to get crash data to try to figure out what were actions of parties prior to a collision of bicyclists, pedestrians, and motorists who were involved, and to see if we can come up with patterns, crash typologies, such as say pedestrians walking across the street and motorists makes a right turn and hits the pedestrian in the crosswalk, or bicyclists rides out into an intersection and is struck or collides with a motor vehicle. We would like to see if that information that we garner will help us in determining what are what are major types of behaviors that can lead to collisions and injuries, and also who is this who's more likely to be involved in crashes, and come up with major crashes to see, do we need to make changes in when we review development applications. Maybe we need to make recommendations for different types of infrastructure than we are already doing. Um, we can also see, well, are there patterns? Maybe people are distracted. Maybe there's an influence of alcohol or drugs. Perhaps perhaps we may need increased barriers on roadways, or to increase um, designated pedestrian crossings of roadways. Do we need to focus more on maybe certain types of actions that drivers are taking? We have a lot of questions. So um, that study is a 15-month study. We anticipate it being completed in August of 2023. And we will be conducting a countywide listening virtual meeting on Wednesday, October 19th. I've put the information in the chat box, and we don't have a link set up yet. We're still finalizing the materials, the marketing materials. But if you check out ATAG website, we will be posting specific information as to the link and to the time. Um, and we're looking for input from the community as to what um, what do they think about pedestrian and bicycle safety in the county, and what suggestions do they have? So we want to hear from the public and get their feedback so we can take those items and continue in consideration as we continue development of this study. The second project that I'm working on as project manager affects a small community in northwestern Prince George's County named Carroll Highlands. Carroll Highlands is bounded by three state highways: University Boulevard, Riggs Road, East West Highway on three sides, and the city of Tacoma Park / Montgomery County border. Um, it's it's adjacent. Part of it is part of the international corridor along University Boulevard, where the Purple Line will be running, and it's adjacent to Langley Park, which is perhaps more widely known and just north of the Chilham area. The Carroll Highlands Safe Mobility Study, um, which is supposed to wrap up in February, is looking at this small community of mostly single-family homes, and then there's some multifamily condominiums, to look at ways of how can we improve mobility in the community and safety, particularly from a pedestrian and bicyclist standpoint. The Right now, it's pretty hilly. The one main roadway, corridor, Erskine Street and Drexel, which is I guess you would call it a collector streets. They don't have continuous sidewalks. There are a couple of places where there are so-called goat trails made by people who are trying to get the shortest distance between point A and point B, but it's not finished. One is an embankment that is heavily used, and there's tree roots. As I say, a steep embankment, but it leads from the community to commercial areas along Riggs Road and University Boulevard, and it would be the most direct route to the upcoming Riggs Road Purple Line station. Then there's a short section of pathway, another goat trail, which is an extension which connects two halves of a street called Hannon Street, and it's heavily used by kids going to Carroll Highlands Elementary School. We have there's an existing conditions report by our consultants. It's what we're calling the draft final. We've gone out. We did a community walk audit. We've gone out with what we call our core group of staff, and that includes representatives of the Department of Public Works and Transportation and the State Highway Administration, and we'll be presenting that to the community as well. And that information will also be posted on the ATAG the ATAG website, and that meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, November 9th. And they'll both be evening meetings, probably starting around 6 o'clock. So check our website for additional details, and we'll probably get your email addresses and try to spread the word out that way as well to folks, so we could welcome input as well. I would imagine Carroll Highlands may not be of quite the same import as the countywide pedestrian bicycle behavioral study, but anyway, we are looking for input from the community in both projects, and that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say about those upcoming projects. Any questions or comments for me?
I just had a quick one. So just, yeah, to confirm, the meeting that's going to happen on the 19th, you're soliciting community feedback. So that would be like more broadly for any community members who are interested in giving their feedback on their like cycling or walking behavior.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
Are those Mike, are those in-person meetings or are those
Virtual.
virtual? Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. And so we'll get a heads up on when that is. I know there was some issue for me anyway, getting into this meeting. I think there was a Eventbrite sent without a link.
Oh, yeah. The way that ATAG works, the way the system works, is you can if you go to our website, and I have that listed at the very top of the chat. Well, first we meet 4 times a year, and we typically meet on the first Monday of the month. September is the exception since the first Monday is Labor Day. Then we meet on the second Monday from 7 o'clock to 8:30. So if you go to our website, there's a link that lets you know upcoming meetings, and then probably about like maybe 3 weeks or so before the next scheduled meeting occurs, we open up a link to register, and we ask that people register up to 12 noon of the day of the next ATAG meeting. And then in that afternoon, the links are sent out to the people who are registered. So that may that's kind of like how the system works there. And then we also have a list on there on the ATAG website of the meeting of the meeting dates, and we post meeting minutes. And the link is also useful for other information. If you have an issue with the roadway, there's debris on the road, there's a fallen branch on a trail, or there's mud on a trail. We list information of who to contact to report that information on that website as well. So if you get a chance, check it out. But that's how we do keep the public abreast of upcoming ATAG meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And at this time, we've got about another 12 minutes left. I'd just like to open it up for, well, first, for those who came after the meeting started, if you didn't introduce yourselves earlier, would you care to let us know who you are, a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I was had some issues getting into the meeting. Mike, you know, I've met before, and my name is Jason Clayton. I'm the president of the Carroll Highlands Neighborhood Association. And you know, we're that neighborhood that Michael mentioned that's you know, bounded by a couple of these highways here. We've had a lot of traffic as a result of the Purple Line. And where we are right now, we have the Purple Line coming in no short order, and no railway for us to actually access the benefits of the Purple Line by foot, by bike, by any other way. We have sort of a ongoing, lack of a better term, battle with the Department of Public Works and Transportation for them to do something about the traffic issues that we have with traffic cutting through our neighborhood. I've been in the community for about 34 years or so, you know, so I'm used to, you know, biking and skateboarding and so forth in our residential streets. And I've noticed that that's becoming a lot more dangerous now. Some of the things that I used to do when I was a teenager, I have no desire for my 7-year-old daughter to do in my neighborhood anymore with the various traffic. So I have a rolling email request with our cops officer, Corporal Dodson, to do traffic enforcement every 30 days. Because again, you know, to this day, I can't get anyone from the Department of Public Works and Transportation to take my calls or emails about addressing any of these issues. So you know, we had reached out to Denny Tavares to see if we can, you know, find some monies to put in some sort of study so that we can affect sidewalks so that we can move about or neighborhood, add some bike lanes or otherwise address, you know, the lack of walkability or bikeability in our neighborhood. So thank you for the invite to the meeting.
Jason, thank you so much. I'm sorry that you had problems getting a hold. Maybe our next meeting in the first Monday of December, if you're available, might be the lucky charm that you won't have any issues. Tiffany, you have a question.
Yes. Now, Jason, what neighborhood are you? What area are you referring to?
Carroll Highlands. It is that section neighborhood that is bound by Riggs Road,
Okay. The
University
study area.
Boulevard,
Mhm.
and New Hampshire Avenue.
Okay. So the area that Michael Jackson is doing a study on.
Yes.
And we're actually looking at improvements in that area as well. Okay. We
Yeah,
are in the process of doing a sidewalk prioritization study. And so it's good to know that Michael can provide your contact information. Irv Beckert's team, our engineering and bridge design team, will be working on that study. And so I'll make sure that he has your information. I can get that from Michael, or if you want to drop it in the chat as well.
Yeah, I can put it in there. So so the running battle that we've been having with the Department of Public Works and Transportation are for speed bumps. You know, they've kind of come through the neighborhood a number of times before. You know, I have and you know, they've essentially declined a request. And you know, the one major thoroughfare that runs through the neighborhood, Erskine, that connects Riggs Road and New Hampshire Avenue, is really the only way in and out of the neighborhood. Our neighborhood is named after the school, elementary school that you know, parents drop their kids off at. So we have, you know, a fair amount of bus traffic, and a couple other buses come to the neighborhood to pick up kids as well too. So we have a lot of kids in our neighborhood, and approximately only 30% of the neighborhood actually has sidewalks. The rest of the neighborhood does not have sidewalks. So we've been requesting for as long as I've been involved. It's been about 11 years. We've been asking for speed bumps in the neighborhood. And I don't know if anyone on the call knows who Alonzo Washington is.
Yeah.
But you know, he went door to door on a petition to get us speed bumps on Erskine Avenue because Erskine Avenue did not qualify for speed bumps. And you know, we've been trying to do that for a number of years now too, because the residents here, with all their kids and pets and what have you, are absolutely they're very upset about the way traffic is going in their neighborhood, and there seems to be a lot of finger pointing. I'm on the calls with the Prince George's County Police Department. They're short of officers. I feel a certain way about having police officers, having to ask police officers to enforce traffic safety in the neighborhood every 30 days. But, for the residents and the kids in the neighborhood, that's, I don't have a problem asking if that's the case. And so there, when we talk to the Public Works and Transportation, they're like, yeah, we can't do this because of reasons. And they point to the police department, and the police department says, we can only patrol so much. And they say, this should be an issue that Department of Public Works and Transportation should do, either in the way of some other traffic calming measures. And it's gotten to the point where we've started our own nonprofit to find other ways to fund our own traffic calming measures, because we don't feel that we can rely on the county to address our concerns.
Okay. I understand. And so our traffic engineering and safety division, not our engineering and bridge design, since you're speaking specifically of your traffic, speed humps and looking more at that, that would be our traffic engineering and safety division. I'm sure you've probably already spoken to Hadi and his team, because they would come out and do the study.
Hadi is included on those emails I send out every 30 days to Corporal Dotson. I've been asking for about 6 months to see who I need to contact there to set up a speed awareness day that we normally do in cooperation with the Prince George's County Police Department. And today there seems to be crickets. It seems like whoever the director or coordinator of community relations, that role seems to turn over every 7 months or so.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Jason, for that feedback there, and we'll continue to work with you, and hopefully the safety mobility study will provide Public Works and State Highway Administration with springboard into taking our recommendations and moving forward on those. I see we have another guest, John Paul Evans. Would you care to introduce yourself and welcome aboard?
Hi, yeah, thank you. So I work with Megan Hart on the Terps for Bike Lanes student group at the University of Maryland, so I'm mostly focused on bicycle infrastructure at the university and in the surrounding area. I know recently a particular pain point for me has been the connection between like across Rhode Island Avenue near Greenbelt Road has been I've had quite a few near misses in the last month, and there's basically zero infrastructure in that area, whereas there's a large amount of infrastructure on either side of 193, and it seems like a glaring break there in the bicycle infrastructure.
Is this where the trolley trail ends at Greenbelt Road and then continues across Greenbelt and University Boulevard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly understand your concerns here. There's the city of Greenbelt actually got grant funding to do a study of the Maryland 193 corridor between Rhode Island Avenue and I think Edmonston Road. And so I participated along with DPW&T staff and representatives from the town of Berwyn Heights and Greenbelt and College Park, and we walked along that corridor, and we certainly looked at that intersection of Rhode Island Avenue and University, and also down to Rhode Island and Greenbelt Road. I'm trying to think if the report was completed or not. But anyway, yeah, the city of Greenbelt is looking at that area along with College Park.
Right. And I had another question for Tiffany, if she's still on the call. I was spending time diving into this, the map and the level of stress measurements on the map or display. It seems like the vast majority of the roads that are labeled as green are done so based on just the speed limit on the road with no traffic data. It seems like there's a lot of missing traffic data, whether that's just from a lack of ability to measure traffic flow on every road or whatever. But if you the biggest example of this missing data seems to be at the University of Maryland itself. You can see that the level of stress on Campus Drive is a 4, mainly due to the immense level of traffic. But all of the surrounding roads are all green because there's no measurement of traffic there. But the traffic on all of those roads is very similar to Campus Drive. So if there was correct traffic data, basically the entire university would be red and not green. And so I think that this view has likely it's likely showing a sort of a false view of how bike friendly many of the roads are in PG County.
Thank you, John, for that. Yes. So, and what we mentioned is that that's for planning purposes. So the data, as we know, there are a number of factors that go into this, and so the data that was provided to us, we say we use it for planning purposes. So there are some gaps in that data, but it gives you a general idea of what's out there. But you're right. There are definitely some limitations.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It is 8:30 right now, and wanted certainly keep our promise not to keep you too long. But before we sign off, did anyone else want any comments or questions while we have this opportunity? Okay, hearing nothing, seeing blank faces and hearing crickets. Thank you so much for your attendance, and I hope it's been a useful 1.5 hours. And our next meeting will be, I need to, let me check the calendar real quick. Looks like our next meeting will be Monday, December 5th, 7 o'clock to 8:30, and check the ATAG website for when we open up registration.
Hey, Mike, before you get out of here, is there an email list of the participants at tonight's meeting? Or is there a way to access that, or is that somewhere around?
Yeah, we can certainly provide that. We'll certainly provide that in the minutes. Okay, I
Okay.
can provide that in the minutes, or I'll make a point right now. Email list of attendees.
I think there's a lot of, yeah, I appreciate that.
And I'll send that out to everyone that's online, and look forward to working with you guys in the future.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Thank you. Have a good
Have
evening.
a good one.